The clock stopped. It was the first thing people noticed. Not the body, not the broken chair, not the open window that let cold air crawl into the room. The wall clock hung above the door, its second hand frozen like it had lost the will to move. At 3:17, Mrs. Eleanor Finch died. She was found in her living room, lying on her side, one hand stretched toward the hallway as if she had tried to crawl away. Her eyes were open. Her mouth was half open too, caught between a breath and a scream. There was no blood, no sign of a fight, just a thin red line around her wrist, like a bracelet made of pain. Officer Daniel Cross stood under the clock and stared at it longer than he should have. "Battery?" his partner asked. Daniel shook his head. "Brand new. Her daughter replaced it yesterday." The clock ticked in his mind, even if it did not tick on the wall. Mrs. Finch was 72, quiet, kind, the sort of woman who baked too much and gave it away. No enemies, no drama, no reason to die on a Wednesday afternoon. The coroner said heart failure, but Daniel felt uneasy. Hearts fail every day. Clocks do not stop for them. He wrote the time down anyway, 3:17 p.m. That night, Daniel dreamed of clocks. Old ones, new ones, all stopped, all staring at him. He woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. 2 days later, the clock stopped again. This time it was across town in a narrow house with peeling paint and loud neighbors. The victim was a man named Harold Pike, 56, a pawn shop owner, known for his temper and his sharp tongue. They found him in his shop after closing time, slumped over the counter, one shoe missing, a bruise on his neck. Above him, a dusty wall clock, frozen at 3:17. Daniel felt a slow chill spread through his chest. "Coincidence," the chief said. "People notice patterns when they're scared." But Daniel remembered Mrs. Finch's wrist. He remembered the thin red line. Harold Pike had the same mark. Not tight enough to cut skin, not loose enough to be nothing. Like someone wanted it noticed. Security cameras showed nothing useful. The footage glitched at 3:16, then jumped to 3:18. 1 minute missing, one quiet minute where anything could happen. Daniel stood alone in the shop after everyone left. The smell of metal and dust filled his nose. He looked at the clock. "Why 3:17?" he whispered. The clock did not answer. Daniel started digging. He pulled old case files, sudden deaths, unsolved ones, people found alone, no clear cause, no suspect. 3 years over. Every single report mentioned the time, 3:17 p.m. Most officers ignored it. Daniel did not. There were 6 cases, now 8. One name appeared in 4 of them. A maintenance worker, Leonard Hale. Leonard fixed old buildings, old clocks too sometimes. He liked restoring things others had given up on. Daniel visited Leonard's last known address, a small apartment above a closed bakery. Inside, clocks covered the walls, all different styles, all stopped at 3:17. Daniel's breath caught. On a table sat a notebook. Inside were names, dates, addresses. Mrs. Finch, Harold Pike, the others too. Leonard Hale had died 6 months ago. Time of death? 3:17 p.m. The official story said Leonard took his own life, but Daniel did not believe it. Leonard's wrist had the same red line. Someone else had started this, someone who knew Leonard. Daniel followed the list. One name was circled in red, Marcus Bell, former clockmaker, fired years ago, known for strange ideas about time. He believed some hours were cursed, some moments were mistakes. Daniel found Marcus living near the old train station. The apartment smelled like oil and rust. Marcus smiled when Daniel asked about 3:17. "That hour should not exist," Marcus said softly. "It was added, stolen. Every day, it steals someone back." Daniel's phone buzzed. Another body, another clock, 3:17. Marcus laughed. They arrived too late. The victim was a young woman, a teacher. She had once complained about a clock Marcus repaired at her school. The pattern was clear now. Anyone who crossed Marcus, anyone who mocked the hour. Marcus was gone. Daniel checked his watch. 3:16. His heart pounded. He ran, back to the station, back to the evidence room. He burst inside as the wall clock ticked once, then stopped. 3:17. Marcus stood behind him. "You can't fix time," Marcus whispered. Daniel felt the cord tighten. Daniel woke on the floor. The clock was ticking. 3:18. Marcus lay still, the cord in his own hands now, his eyes empty, his wrist marked. Later, they said Marcus slipped, fell, an accident. Daniel knew better. The clocks around the city began to move again, all except one, the one in Daniel's house. It stopped that night at 3:17. And somewhere, someone was counting. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, share, and comment if you have an idea, thoughts, or theory, and subscribe for more.